What's going on, guys and gals? Chris, the Bonafide Hustler, coming to you live from the inside of my office, and welcome to the show. Yeah, it's a beautiful evening here in Austin, Texas. Welcome. If you're catching me for the very first time, my name is Chris. I live in Austin, Texas, and predominantly on a part-time basis, I flip used items that I find from garage sales, thrift stores, yard sales, flea markets, pawn shops, swap meets, and even local avenues. And I take these used goods and I put them on places like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, my antique booth, eBay, Amazon, other consignment avenues in town. So that's pretty much what I do on a part-time basis. And today I'm going to be talking about how to sell on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, give you guys some tips and stuff like that. So one of the things that I do in the background, hopefully you guys can hear me. So we're going to do a sound check real quick because I always want to make sure that we get all that out of the way, because if I'm just not being heard or something's wrong or the video feed's messed up, then there's really, I got to address that before anything goes down. So anyways, welcome to anybody that's here right now. I don't know how many people are watching, but I think, okay, we got 13 so far. So yeah, don't forget to also hit the thumbs up if you like, the content that I produce or the stuff that I choose to make in the background. So yeah, this show is basically about selling locally. I think it's really important that people explore these avenues, and it's really important because other avenues that we're accustomed to really enjoying back in the day, or maybe even earlier this year, places like eBay and Amazon, they're getting a little bit more pay to play, and we're seeing this with Facebook Marketplace a bit too. But this pay to play kind of thing is fine. It's just another element and another variable that is not so much enjoyable, right? But you still have to pay to play. Like, all my listings on eBay, for example, are all promoted listings right now. And they are exceeding trending rates by, I think I picked 4 yesterday, 4%. So, this is still money out of our pocket any way that we look at it. And so a local avenue kind of resale thing provides us hope, and it provides us some, satisfaction, because we don't have, there's really like no returns when it comes down to selling locally. So I'm going to discuss a couple like positives with selling locally. And that is, we have cash in our hands. We have no returns. Of course, you can do Venmo and some other things. I got my little blue microphone right here. I got to make sure you guys can hear me. Hello. ASMR cheddar talk. So there's cash involved. There's no returns. You can sell the item too, this is something that not many people talk about, but you can actually sell the item, not in a literal sense, but you can sell the item to somebody if they're on the brink of maybe thinking if they really need it or not. You can like sell it to them. So that's really, really, really important too. And that's one of the biggest perks, is that if you're a good negotiator or a good salesman, then local avenues are fun too. Suppose someone comes up to you and is like, hey, I want to go buy your GoPro camera. I got a trip coming up over the weekend. Let's say it's like a Wednesday. So the person comes and they're like, okay, I like this camera. I'm not so sure I need all this other stuff. And then while they're thinking, you can go, yeah, well, if you buy the camera now, you don't have to like go around searching for it. You get a great deal. You don't have to buy one new. And this one's perfectly fine. It's tested. I mean, clearly you're holding it and it's turning on and off. So yeah, it saves you time, and you can get a great deal right in here. So you can actually sell the item while you sell the item, what I'm saying? Which helps a lot. There have been so many cases. In fact, last week I had a case at a gas station at nighttime where I had to sell a pair of trail running shoes to somebody that was on the brink of like, they might be a little too tight. I basically sold it to him like, these are trail running shoes, arguably some of the best in the market. And you can wear thinner socks, thicker socks, however you want to get your custom fit. They're in great shape, as you can see, and they're pretty much half price. So once he started to realize those things, he was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Now, let's talk about some downsides to selling locally real quick. And that is, it involves some face-to-face. And some people are just not all about that, right? That's the reason why people like Poshmark and eBay, Amazon. You're not dealing face-to-face with the customer. And for some of us, that can be a challenge. And it can be a challenge. Where do you meet them as well? Do you meet them at a police station? Do you meet them at nighttime? Do you meet them on your, at your house, for example, or at your apartment complex? So the face-to-face thing can be kind of intimidating. And one of the other negatives to local market reselling, but I don't really experience this, is the potential time wasted, that might occur, and people standing you up, for example. So we live in a very interesting digital age now where people can communicate very quickly. And when someone, it takes a lot to stand somebody up these days. So, it still happens here and there, but there's so much communication. The communication outlets are so easy these days, whether it be text or Facebook Messenger or whatever, that if someone's not going to make it there, they're probably going to let you know. So the time wasted part can be looked at as like, maybe not. But I'm going to give you guys some tips in this video as to how I, involved local market reselling. And I started local market reselling. I've been selling on Craigslist for like probably the past 16 years. And as of last October, I decided to involve Facebook Marketplace, and I decided to involve a lot more of my stuff that goes to eBay. I'll triple and double list it to local avenues as well. And it just began as like an experiment, and the experiment did very, very well. So we're going to talk about 4 tips that I can give you real quick. And if you're down for tips and you love, good content, then make sure you hit the like button. And I really hope you guys on the other side can start involving some local market sales. And then we'll get to some Q&A, which I received some stuff on Facebook, and I received some questions on Instagram. So we're going to go through those, and I'm going to answer some stuff live that is in the feed. So if you got a great question or something like that, but try to answer it. I can't answer every single question. Some might be a little too pushy, so I might not be able to get to those. But I'll try to answer as many as I can. So I'm going to get through some of these tips I want to give you real quick. And then you've heard me say this on some other videos, but in order to figure out if local market reselling is going to work for you, you have to be able to test what sells. And the only way to test what sells, you can extensively research your market by just looking at your market. You can go on Craigslist and see like it's all in different like organized folders. Like you can go to the bikes, check out who's selling what on bikes. You can default to picture view, to list view, whatever view you're looking for. But you can do local market research that way. You can also go on Facebook Marketplace and just go into the browse category of Marketplace and just browse within however much of a radius around your house or apartment, however much you want to look at. So I look at things all the time that are within about an hour from my house, because if there's a stellar deal on something, maybe I can make a couple $100 on, $500 on, maybe even $1,000, then I'm willing to drive around an hour for that, or basically an hour one direction, an hour back, and probably 30 minutes of like negotiation. So that 2.5 hours of my time, and I start thinking things like this, like it has to be worth, I have to be making X amount of profit. Those are the things that go through my head. So that's the reason why my radius isn't like 3 hours away from my house or anything like that. It kind of stops at like the hour mark. So let's talk about test what sells. You're going to have to do that double, triple listing kind of thing. Pick out some of your eBay things, not some of the stuff that you've already done, but let's say from this point moving forward, if you have a pair of boots that are going to be listed on eBay, some Red Wings, for example, then take the exact same pictures, the exact same heading and description, and put it to Facebook Marketplace and put it to Craigslist. All right. So that's one of the ways that you can do it. And, it's overwhelming when you think about like, oh my gosh, like I'm supposed to get to 100 listings to figure out what sells in my town, but if you put 3 to 5 a day, it's still 20 days down the road. Less than a month later, you'll have 100 listings up on both avenues, and things will sell, and you're going to have to yank it off eBay and stuff like that. So test what sells. Make sure you triple listings as much as possible. Number 2 is develop a relisting plan, because Facebook Marketplace has a way different relisting plan than Craigslist, for example. In Craigslist, I think it's 48 hours. So after every 48 hours, you have a chance to renew it, or you can completely delete it and then relist it. So there's like things that you get with Craigslist that is about 48 hours. I think with Facebook Marketplace, it's around 7 or 9 days now. So it prompts you with a relist item kind of thing, and it'll be grayed out if you can't do it. But you can still edit your item, and you can still put the price down. And when a prospective buyer looks at your item, there will be a little cross out of your original price, and then it'll be your new price, which I don't so much really like that thing, but there's nothing you can do about it. So anyways, you have, they're entirely different platforms, but they're super similar. And, outside of maybe you get 20 pictures on Craigslist, you get, you get 10 on Facebook Marketplace. On Facebook Marketplace, you can put pretty big headings. On Craigslist, you can put a little bit shorter headings. But it's still a thing that you need to be doing. So if you're just kind of selectively putting 1 or 2, and by the time a month is over, you have 5 or 7 listings up, and you go, this is dumb. None of this is working for me. You cannot expect to learn anything about your local market with only 5 or 7 listings up. You're going to need close to 80 to 100. All right. So the things that you're putting up on eBay, try to put them on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Unless you're like a big time clothing reseller or something like that, it might not work out at all, even with 80 to 100, because I don't think people are really looking at Facebook Marketplace for Brooks Brothers shirts or polo shirts or territory ahead things. They're looking for cream of the crop brands: Yeti, Patagonia, Arc'teryx, Trek bikes, Specialized bikes. They're not looking for super cheap things, as I've found, at least in this town. So, but you never know until you do the actual, test what sells. So it's very, very important. Can you guys hear me very well? Let me know, because this little $5 blue mic that I got from a garage sale, look at this freaking snowball looking thing. I think it's good, but I cannot tell. Hello, test, ASMR cheddar time. Okay, let's talk about the relist plan. So what is my relist plan? My relist plan is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So like every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, I am relisting anything that I can possibly relist on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. That way it is ready for the weekend. On Wednesday, it's kind of ready for Thursday, Friday, basically. And then when you relist on Friday, the weekend is one of the most important times to have everything relisted, because people finally get time off. There's no traffic in the towns, and they can go from point A to point B and pick up an item, whatever, and people are a little bit more mobile on the week. I don't know. It's just a lot better. There's no work, and weekends are just a good time to have all your stuff listed. It gives you a really good chance to flip multiple items on Saturdays and Sundays. E-Money on Saturdays and Sundays must flip 2 to 3 items each day. I mean, he just has it down really well. Number 3 is get accustomed to checking messages 3 times a day. So really, really important. When I wake up, one of the very first things that I do is, get on my phone. I do a couple things. Now, I'm not really supposed to do these things. I'm probably supposed to maybe take my afternoon meditation and put it to the morning and all that stuff. But, so I can't help it. Like, I just get to look at my Facebook stuff first and what's sold on eBay, if anything did. And then that's what I do in the morning. That's like one of the very first things in the very first 2 minutes that I'll do real quick, just to make sure. I want to be able to respond to people that are interested in something. And if I can bring it maybe closer to them somehow, then that would be cool too. Or if I can bring it with me as I go to a coffee house or to the gym parking lot or to the gym or to anything after the gym before I basically get home again. I want to kind of know, can I make it any easier for the person? So it's very important to check your messages 3 times a day. I check them right around the morning time. I'll check them right around the lunchtime, like when I'm having my first real meal of the day. And then I'll check them right in the evening time as well to see if I can get some of those evening people that are off work to come pick something up. Number 4, the 4th tip I want to give you is, always text them with let me know when you're 5 minutes away. Really important. And get them to come to you. Don't ever go to where they live unless you are eating in that area or doing some sort of errands in that area or something, thrifting in that area. Then you can be like, I can bring it to you, closer. But don't ever bend your rules for someone if you're not having some sort of business in that area. That's where people think that local market reselling wastes time, is because they go somewhere and then now they're waiting in some parking lot for some guy to show up or gal. And they're either 10 minutes early, 15 minutes late, 30 minutes late. And that's where this whole it's a waste of time mentality starts, I don't know. It's not really like that. You have to make sure that they go on your schedule. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is by texting them let me know when you're 5 minutes away. Let me know when you're 10 minutes away from this one place. I can get to it real quick. Or I like to say something like, let me know when you're 5 minutes away. I'll be at a neighbor's house, for example, right? So now they're forced to text me, I'm 5 minutes away, because they realize if I show up, he's at the neighbor's house, which I'm not. I'm actually, here, or I just want to make sure that they know that I won't be here. It's a weird way of saying it. It's kind of like reverse psychology, but I'll say, text me when you're 5 minutes away. I might be at a neighbor's house, or I'll probably be at a neighbor's house close by if they're coming to my house. So it's an interesting thing to do. Gas stations at night, I'm all about them. As long as it's a safe gas station with a lot of light, I think it's cool. Always check your rear view mirrors when you're going home. Make sure no one follows you home. But I don't think there's anything wrong with meeting at gas stations that are close to your house. And of course, you'll say, text me when you're 5 minutes away from the gas station, assuming you can get to the gas station in 2 minutes, for example. Text me when you're 5 minutes away. Very, very important to say things like that. That way they're on your schedule and you're not on theirs. Okay. So those are the 4 tips I wanted to give you real quick. I'm going to go into my Instagram real quick and answer. I put a post up today. I'm going to answer 2 questions. I think 2 came down on Instagram. So I'm going to answer these real quick regarding sell more on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. So here's the post. You can kind of see it. I put it up earlier today, and we have, actually 4 comments. Okay. This guy Evan says, do you use comparable prices on eBay when trying to find the right price for a local sale item? All right, this is a great question. So suppose a pair of Red Wing boots, for example, sells for 100 on average. Actually, yeah, 100 on average. No, we'll take a recent scenario that just like happened yesterday. All right, so I had a pair of Lucchese boots that were smooth quill ostrich boots. They were on eBay for $150. Okay, so $150 with 13% off. You know, like this is how I'm thinking in my head. Like eBay fees, eBay PayPal fees, 13%. Then there's that promoted listing thing. So like, yeah, now we're probably closer to 15. And then I start to think shipping, pair of boots, dimensions, somewhere between 10 and 15. So I take 150, I take this, anywhere between 13 and 20% off the top for eBay fees and promoted listing things. And then I take another 10 to 15 for shipping. And I'm starting to think, in order for me to sell it here and get some good money out of it, I want to be around $100 because there's also a premium associated to one and done. Meaning if you sell it locally, you don't take any chances of returns or anything like that. And I like that premium. I'm actually willing to spend money to have that premium. And when I say that, that's the reason why I don't price it at 110 or 120 for the pair of boots. I'll just price it at 100 because the value of having that money quicker with no returns, there's a premium to that and I'll pay for it. So that's just the scenario that evolved yesterday. For example, a pair of boots that didn't take very long to sell. I think it took like 2 or 3 days. They're not all like that, of course. That's just some of them. Some of the good ones are like that. I yanked my eBay listing immediately. And then I snapshotted, since I'm a creator, I snapshotted my Craigslist ad and my Facebook ad because I'll be making a show about it one day. So I have all these like really cool ads that I've put up for things that I've sold locally, and it'll be in a show one day because I want to talk about it. So do I use comparable prices on eBay? Yeah. So I use my comparable price on eBay to get my eBay price. And then off that, I'm going down like a third, to get my Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace price. And I'm okay with that because one and done reselling is awesome. Well, God, man, so many comments. I'm gonna get to them in 1 second. Okay. Craig from Instagram says, how do Craigslist sales compare to eBay or Facebook Marketplace? I do well on eBay in Marketplace, but Craigslist seems to be outdated. Craigslist seems to be outdated, but honestly, yesterday, that's where that guy found my Lucchese boots from. Because I was like, oh, so you must have seen the Facebook Marketplace post. And he goes, no, I saw this thing on Craigslist. I was like, dang, Craigslist is still working just fine. And I know that because like when I look at my emails and stuff, like I see people responding to my Craigslist ads all the time. So I wouldn't say it's outdated. It looks outdated. I would think it's just as good as Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace just seems newer and more fun, and it's just very picturesque. Craigslist has got that boring purple bluish font, and I don't know, but they still work very well. So I wouldn't, discount one over the other. Is this true for my sales as well? I didn't really look back and see like what sold on what. So maybe I should do that. I should ask the people from this point forward, like, where'd you see the ad? And if I get way more Facebook Marketplaces, then I'll be like, all right, that's working better. I would still list it on Craigslist regardless, though. P Found Treasure says, our local sales always cash. Yes, they are. Today I took Venmo on something really small, but I usually don't take Venmo for anything. So that answers the second question. Can we trust that any digital cash apps won't have a chargeback from the buyer? So, if you don't take Venmo or anything like that, it's great. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Let me shout out this person, Cole Covington, says $2. Basically, bought a espresso shot for e-money on there for $2. Hey, Cole, thank you so much. It looks like you're doing a T-bar row in the picture too. This dude lifts. This is awesome, man. Thank you so much. I love super chats. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah, Cole Covington super chatted me $2. Espresso shot for e-money. If you guys are enjoying these type shows, let me know. But if you enjoy the ride-alongs, like definitely let me know. Because sometimes I wonder, like, are people really enjoying them, or are they just clicking into them because of like the thumbnail or something? So let me know. And what are your favorite parts of the ride-alongs? If you do like them, let me know. John Mick says, do you have any strategies for pricing unique items that don't have obvious comps elsewhere online? It's tough because if you're pricing a unique item, clearly you think it's cool in some way. It becomes kind of a how do I say it? It can be kind of a bummer to find good keywords on an item that's just really cool. But with unique items, I have the booth. That's the thing. So if something's unique in a sense, like I'm already thinking it's probably vintage, antique, or retro for me. And I'll pick up those kind of items all day because I'll just throw them in the booth. I'll just put whatever tag kind of looks like the item, be like, oh, mid-century modern lamp. Even if it's not, I could say that and it's fine. So do I have any strategies for, I usually don't put unique items on my local avenues. They're usually very known items that are super keyword spammed because that's how people find your stuff. So I hope that answers your question, John Mick. For all the 4 people that ask me questions on Instagram, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So let's go to Facebook real quick, and then I'll go into the live feed. So if you have a question for me, I'm going to get to you, or I'm going to try to get to you. Okay, so here we go. Benjamin Vivas, what was your biggest flip? All right, Benjamin, great question. So my biggest flip might be that GameCube that just sold in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, look at the video before this. That GameCube, technically with everything, well, it was like a $2,000 profit. So $80 Nextdoor pickup, sold for $2,000. I mean, basically netted us $2,000 pretty quickly. Outside of that, I think he's asking about local markets. Oh, I mean, I guess we could say that my boat that I just resold on Facebook Marketplace, because that's where we were doing the conversation between me and that buyer. That one, after all fees were said and done, I did the calculations. That one made me and my wife 27, like 19 or something like that. So $2,719 on a boat that we used for 3 years, and we put a bunch of hours on it. It was so much fun. Of course, over all the 3 years, yeah, we lost some money because we paid for some insurance and storage and whatever went wrong on the boat. But when I look back at it, I would never trade it for the world. And it's very hard, unless you buy a boat in the wintertime, which we bought ours in April, and then I flipped it 3 years later in September. That's the kind of way that, you know, if you do it right, if you're going to buy a boat, you're going to buy it in the dead of winter before April, because people want money for taxes a lot of times, and they'll go crazy on their boat to like lower it just to get money for tax season. So yeah, you want to buy a boat around February or March, and then, you know, get it worked on. That way it's on the water by April or May. And then you have a great summer on a boat that you're probably going to make some money on. So that's probably my biggest flip. Caleb says, have you ever tried out the Goodwill outlet in Austin? I tried the old one. I didn't like it too much. I haven't done the new one yet. I've been finding a lot there to flip for profit for cheap since you pay by the pound, but it's a different experience. And I agree, Caleb, it is a different experience. I need to visit the new ones, so I'm not going to write it off right now. But for the old ones that I did visit on Burleson Road, I wasn't a big fan. C. Thomas Bay, what is your return percentage in items of percentage on top line sales, not of transactions? I don't know if I quite understand this. My ROI, I guess. I mean, it's high. That's the thing. I mean, when we sell locally, I mean, ROI is usually super high. I don't know if I quite understand this question, Thomas Bay. Maybe if you're here on the show, you can ask it here. Ricardo says, how many items do you sell daily? All right, so this is a good question. It's somewhere between 1 and 2. Of course, there's some days where you sell none. And if I'm have a particularly busy day, then I won't even think about like making appointments. But how many items do you sell daily? You know, I'm happy with 1 to 2 if the items are paying on average 40 or more. Like 1 to 2 is pretty cool. What did I sell yesterday? Like, I forget. Oh yeah, I sold the boots yesterday. So I made 85 on a pair of boots that day. And the day before that, well, that's the day I sold the GameCube and the bike, so I made a lot of money that day. But day before that, I can't remember. I have a tracking sheet, actually. I track all my stuff. So all I know is local market reselling does it very well. So it's good. Dan Baird, what is the most positive thing that has come out of reselling for you other than the money? This is a really good question. It has nothing to do with local market reselling, so I like that. And I'm going to answer it for you, Dan. The most positive thing that has come out of reselling for me, quite honestly, isn't anything inside me. It's all this. It's all the people like you guys out there that have supported the channel and have done something with the information that I have divulged over the past 6 years. So to me, the most positive thing that has come out of reselling was starting this channel and helping you guys out. Like, I mean, I make ride-alongs and they take forever to edit some of them. I make guides, and some of you guys buy them, some of you don't. But a lot of people get to me behind the scenes and they say things like, your channel has changed my life. Like, don't know where I'd be without the Bonafide Hustler. Got that message yesterday, for example. Don't know where I'd be without this guy and his guides. Like, they're great. Bag for this, flip the bike for that. I like that kind of stuff because that's something, I make good content. I try to make good content. And for the people that are out there that want to use their brains and kind of mimic that, and then they start making money on it, they go, wow, like that's pretty cool. And we live in such an interesting place where I can throw on a webcam or, hold a camera when I'm going garage selling. And whatever I capture, if I edit it the right way, can inspire people across the world or in different locations in the USA to mimic what I do. And then it translates into what they see me do because it's making money for them. So I think the greatest thing, to answer your question, Dan, is the most positive thing is the fact that I'm able to affect you guys somehow, and it makes me feel good, if that makes any sense. Brad Gross, I struggle with local sales when I have a lack of knowledge of an item, but I believe it has value. It's not like eBay where I can look up the comps, although I still do, and that helps. Maybe sharing your process of looking up an item's value. When you have lack of knowledge for the item, do you just Google or any other sites you use? All right, so when I have lack of knowledge of an item, I'll use Google to run any kind of code numbers inside of a boot, for example, that if I need to know what the composition of the boot is. Because a boot that is goat skin looks a lot like leather in a lot of cases, or one that's baby buffalo might look a little bit like goat skin. And if you don't know these things, you're missing out sometimes on $50 or $100 tiers of profit. For example, when I was talking about boots. So Googling certain boot codes and things like that will tell you what it is. And that way you can make a little bit more money because you have adequate amount of information. If you're struggling with local sales because of lack of knowledge of an item that has value, if you're seeing things on eBay that have value, things that have sold on eBay are selling for a reason, right? They're selling because either they're dirt cheap and they're okay goods, or they're selling for good money, good return because they are good goods. They're high quality goods. People want them over and over. And so when you look at what's sold, no matter what you're looking for, whether it be like a Yeti cooler or a freaking pair of boots or a pair of shoes or, a bike part or something like that, if you see repeated sold things in the past 90 days, and you can do that in eBay with filtering, then it has a market on eBay at least. So it'd be worth putting that item with the same pictures, listings, everything. I mean, pictures, heading, all that kind of stuff on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Like I said, you're gonna need to do 80 to 100 of these things to figure out what sells in your town. So you better get started. I know it's a daunting number, but it's really not when you do 3 to 5 a day or something like that. It actually, that's the way you do it. It's really hard to see the end goal when you're looking at the big thing at the end going, man, that's just way too big. But if you look at it in digestible segments, then it's no different than any other big task in life. If you're overweight, for example, and you see that I have to look like this, and you have a picture of a skinny person, it's just really discouraging. You're like, I don't, whatever. But if you put it into little things and going to the gym and eating healthy and these repeatable little things, then you find that you just automatically start gravitating towards that, because it's a much easier thing to digest and do in your life. So same thing with this eBay versus Facebook Marketplace versus Craigslist thing. Make sure that you do the cross listing. Very important. Elliot, would you recommend having a booth space at an antique mall? Pros or cons? That's not really for this video, but I'll kind of answer it right now. I like having the booth in my antique mall. It's great, and it's cyclical. If you're dealing with an antique mall, I do have a very small book called Booths $2. You can find it on bonafidehustler.com. It's like $10. It's really cheap. And it discusses a lot of pros and cons in that booth, in the antique mall setting, or getting one or considering getting one. So all the pros and cons are in that book. Go check it out. I'll give you a couple right now. Don't get into a mall that has high rent and low foot traffic. Get into a mall that has high foot traffic, then start inquiring about the rent. Get into a mall that has high foot traffic, plus people are touching items, and you see items in their hands, and they're bringing it to the front desk. That's a good mall. At that point, I would start inquiring what's your rent situation here? And then from there, you can decide, okay, you told me about 6 booths. Let me see all 6. Let me get the best located, the one with the best lighting, the best location, and the best, has the best possibility for building upwards, for example, with pegboard. So you can like kind of maximize your space. You can almost get like 2 booths in one if you can get pegboard going high. So yeah, there's all kinds of pros and cons, but it starts at the very beginning, which is like, don't invest into a dead product. Look at the mall or the antique mall as an appreciating stock, for example, or stock with a lot of potential. What makes a stock have a lot of potential? You know, P&L statements, like, quarterly earnings that are great, positive guidance, like all these things. The same thing with an antique mall. When you go into one, what makes an antique mall great? People walking around with stuff in their hands, people buying things, hearing the register, like, as soon as you walk in, people are in line or they're selling things, or they're actively, people are in their booths, they're cleaning them, they're rotating items. Like there are definitely some things that you can notice with a place that has potential. Brad Kessler, last question. Who wins in a 100-yard dash, you, CP, or Rakin? All right, so I'd probably be Rakin like right off the bat, but College Picker is a lean, muscular machine. So I don't know. I don't know if he's much of a runner. I'm not really much of a runner. Back in the day, I was pretty fast, but like I don't know anymore. I mean, I can hold my own. I think CP and I would be neck and neck, but if I had to put some money down on it, I think College Picker might edge me out a little bit based upon he has to move less muscle around and he's super streamlined, I guess. Kind of a funny answer to it, but thank you, Brad. Okay, so let me shout out my buddy A&M Hunter right here. Super chatted me $20. Thank you so much. Me and my wife lived off of only local sales for over a year, and half mostly ATVs and motorcycles, but lots and lots of other things. So yeah, local market reselling is really, really fun. I would imagine maybe this year, maybe next year, I might start flipping some cars here and there. I don't know. I think you're limited in Texas maybe to 5. And then you have to like open up, you have to get some sort of like other thing. I don't know if it's I don't know. I think you can flip 5 and then you have to like flip 5 under someone else, or you become a dealership, classified as a dealership. I don't know. It's something like that. I have to look into it. I'm gonna start answering questions from the feed. All right, so here we go. What do we got? Brian, do you sell on OfferUp? I don't really like OfferUp, honestly. I think there are a lot of cheap people on there, at least here in Austin. Lazy people on OfferUp. I'll say it right now. My brother used to be on it and he used to like it, and then he was just like, this thing sucks. So yeah, that's the question. That Adam's Exploits. Hey Chris, good to see you live. Hey, thanks Adam. Good to see you too. He says, don't forget to smash the like button. Cool. Thank you so much for reminding me. Don't know how many likes we have right now. Maybe we have 42. It does help me out. They're little tiny things that you can do for me that really help me out. One is buy all my guides. No, just kidding. That really helps me out. But one of the easiest things that you can do to help me out is simple. Like just hit the like button. And it just helps me. It helps my videos get found. And it helps the videos get a little bit more views early on. So if you can do a favor, if you want to, you don't have to, but like if you'd like to, please do. Flippin' Deegan says, next guy should be coach to cash. I just flipped a Katanica tactical jack for 300, paid 18. Really cool. The next guy that I am working on is a lot of outdoor products. So I am working on that right now as we speak. Not as we speak, but like, you know what I'm saying. I was working on it today earlier. I'm actually filming a vlog today, so it'll go up hopefully tomorrow, and you'll see. Jordan D, yo Chris, what details are most important to add to an item description? All right, it's the same as eBay, and I say that because I just dragged the exact same things from eBay into Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. Now, the exceptions are things like, let's say bikes, for example. Bikes solely will be on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Yeah, I even discussed it in my guides, Bikes to Bucks. Like very few bikes belong on eBay. Like they have to be uber collectible. Bike parts, different story. Bike parts, I love eBay. Blah, it has a way better like reach and all that kind of stuff for anything. Like really hard to find BMX pedals, carbon cranks, carbon handlebars, awesome stems. Things that are just random like that. So I think it's good for certain things when it comes to bikes, for example, bigger things, bow and arrow, bows, kayaks, like, all these canoes, like all that stuff belongs on local avenues. So don't sit there and pass that stuff up. If you're finding good deals at these things at garage sales, make sure you have a rack on top of your car. Like, bring big items home if you can, because big items are great for Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. P. Sheely69 says, thanks, Bish. Yeah, we talk behind the scenes here and there. Super chatting me $9.99. Thank you so much, Pat. Oh, man. That is so cool. P. Sheely69. I appreciate that. I was like, I know this is the guy that always says Bish. Always. Always. I mean, like, I literally just talked to him yesterday on Instagram. So, Rhythm J says, I like to source from Let Go. Now, you can source from Let Go, OfferUp. Gosh, there's what, 5 Mile? I don't know. There's another one. I like Nextdoor. Nextdoor is a secret. It's not a secret anymore. But anyways, as of maybe yesterday's video with the GameCube thing, I've been trying to tell you guys for a while. Like, Nextdoor is awesome. It's easy. It's super easy. I don't know how else to say it. It's fun. And it's always close to your house. Like, here in the Nextdoor, I mean, I'm maxed out at like what, 63 neighborhoods. I thought it was at 37 at one point. So I'll pull up my Nextdoor for 1 second, and it looks like this. So I'll say, here's my neighborhood. Okay, so this is what Nextdoor kind of looks like when you're in it, like in a neighborhood. I think you have to maybe own a house to be on Nextdoor. It's possible. I'm not 100% sure. I go to the for sale and free section, and it looks like this, you know, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. Then you can whittle it down to like appliances, automotive, all these things you can look on the Nextdoor, which is great. And I think on the video, when I popped on the GameCube thing, it was in the toys and games section or something like that, wherever it is, toys and games, right down here. It was on one of those last sections, just chilling there. GameCube console, $80 with like 10 or 11 games. Standing console with controllers. I was like, drop everything, let's go, you know. And so we got this thing. So there's a video yesterday. I won't spoil it for you, but it's really cool. You should check it out. But yeah, Nextdoor is really good, and you can filter down. I haven't done it in a while. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is a broader local area. No, you can like max out your neighborhoods, and you should. When you're on Nextdoor, definitely max out all your hoods because you can do that. I haven't done it in a while, but like I think I'm at like 37 or 63. It's one of those two numbers. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, get on Nextdoor. It's pretty cool. Emerson, my brother, I think he missed a $10 large dog crate yesterday, and he was 45 minutes late to the ad, and I think it sold to the first 1 or 2 people. But that would have made him $60, for example. So Linda Brooks says, is E-Money your next door neighbor as well? Yes, he is. He is. What's a strategy? What strategy do you use to have to get more views on your items? Okay, so one of the strategies that I might be adopting soon is doing boost posting on Facebook Marketplace, which is the equivalent of promoted listings on eBay, kind of. So it's like pay to play kind of thing. I don't know if I'm going to, but that's definitely something I'm looking into. I don't know if I'm going to do it. How do you list on Facebook Marketplace without using your name? I don't know, because it uses my name. That's from Kenshi. What else we got here? Can you make a cars to bucks guide? I can make an RC to bucks guide. That's probably the one I really need to be making, but because radio controlled stuff is phenomenal to make money on, like crawler bodies, like hobby grade RC stuff, all the parts that go with it. Oh my gosh, there's plenty of money to be made in there, and there's so many people with disposable income. It's crazy when it comes to radio controlled stuff. It blows your mind, and it's in like almost every hometown I've seen. Every town that I've ever looked at has these things. It's crazy. Basic Hustler says, Bonafide, what's up? Good to see you. What's up to you? Get some more questions here. Let go is much better is what A&M Hunter is saying. I've done both, and at least here in Austin, it seems people are very lazy on those two avenues, so I don't mess with it. Maybe I will again. I think I still have it on my phone. Here's a great comment. Bags to Bucks has made me over $1,500 so far. That is a $37 guide on my website, on bonafidehustler.com. Aaron Schmidties says, Bags to Bucks has made me over $1,500. How crazy is that? That's pretty crazy. The funny thing is, last year I made way over $1,500 selling bags. For sure, 100%. I know one bag made me like it's in Bags to Bucks. It's the highest selling bag that I put in there. It was a $1.50 bag in there, I think. $1.50, and it sold for $6.49. But that's in that guide too. What else we got here? Dale French says, thanks for the videos and sharing your knowledge. You're welcome, Dale. Sand Sound says, where's Whitney at? Whitney is at actually a dinner function with her company. Okay, what else we got here? Aaron Schmeddy says, one $5 bag made me $450. Wow. Cool. Joe Molina, what up, bro? I can honestly say Bonafide Hustler has changed my life and an abundance mentality. Very cool. What's up, Joe Molina? Good to see you. Logan Nelson, where do you find the radio control stuff? This is a really good question. And the funny thing is, it's right in front of your eyes. You can find it on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, because this is the way that the radio controlled market kind of works. At least the electric radio controlled market being cars, truggies, buggies, and trucks. Cars, truggies, buggies, and trucks. Is that there's always something new coming out. If you thought that the iPhone was ridiculous, coming out like every 8 months, radio controlled car company, or radio controlled companies, whether it be Axial, Traxxas, Losi, Team Associated, HPI, they're always producing new features in new cars. And these things, you would not believe it. They cost $300 all the way up to $1,500. And when someone has something that's slightly outdated, they're like, I want the new thing. So they let go of something that's perfectly fine and amazing. And then you can take that and throw it on eBay to make like $100 on it. So yeah. And the funny thing is, the people that want to get into these new things, they go crazy low on their radio controlled stuff. And a lot of people that have one radio controlled car will have 4 or 5 other ones in the back. So you can ask, it leads to other things. So just something to consider. RC to Bucks, or radio controlled to Bucks, is one of those guys I should build. I've always thought about building it. It's extremely niche. And it makes good money. I mean, really good money. It's crazy. When I focus, let's say, only on that, and maybe like I abandon the whole bikes thing, I would make some really good money. It's just a matter of, I would probably have to go to more places to grab the cars and the trucks, the truggies and the buggies. I'd have to go to places to get them. But, maybe I should one day. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm telling you. Here's A&M Hunter. Do you fix RC cars or just sell as is? It just depends. I can fix them. I know how to. I really don't like messing with the nitro ones too much, although I'll just sell those as is. But the electric ones, like I had one 2 months ago, like a really big one, an X-Max. No, an E-Max, sorry. Traxxas E-Max. And I think I bought it for $50. And I ended up selling for I sold that with this other one. I didn't make a video about it, but it was actually a really good flip. And it needed a bulkhead, which is a part in the front, because its bulkhead was cracked. So I went to the store, got a bulkhead. It was like $8. And then I think that's all it needed. Yeah, so I needed a bulkhead, installed the bulkhead, which was like maybe eight screws, and that was it. Like that. I mean, it was like super easy to do. The cars had come with batteries. The trucks came with batteries and stuff. I charged the batteries up. I plugged them in. They all worked. And so I never made a video about it. It was a really good sale, actually, not too long ago. That was a Facebook Marketplace lead that led to some big money. That actually, going to this one guy's property, I was able to find 2 radio-controlled trucks, Traxxas Revo and a Traxxas E-Max. Both of those cost me $270. No, yes, $250. One was brand new. The Revo was brand new. And then he proceeded to sell me a Kuat bike rack for $90. And then I ordered some keys for $10. And I sold that for $300, just that bike rack. And then, yeah, all kinds of stuff. And he sold me another Kuat bike rack, which I use now. And he sold me some bike lights, which are chilling right here, that are really awesome for like mountain. You can kind of see the box right there. It's a little gray box sitting on top of something else. There, that thing. Yeah, there are like $170 bike lights in there. There's 3 of them actually, and they're chilling in there. So you put them on your helmets, you put them on your bike, and you can like ride at night. So pretty cool stuff. And he sold me those for like $40. Yeah, you get a lot of cool things. When people that had radio controlled things have always amazing things like in a shed somewhere. So I made good stuff. Pip, you look like that dude from Game of Thrones. Awesome. That is good. I like that one. A&M Hunter, best reseller on YouTube, hands down. Thank you. What else we got here? Brian the Oakbrook Picker. I sold a vintage Traxxas empty box this year. Empty box. Wow, for decent bucks. That's crazy. Let's talk about local stuff if we can. Oh, man. Eric Gonzalez, my goal is to buy 1 or 2 items a day that I can at least double my money on. That should be very easy. I drive around all day, go to thrift shops, antique shops. Cool. Yeah. So I think, man, thrift stores are really easy to find 1 or 2 items a day, like all day. Facebook Marketplace, you should always source from there. I think it's a great place. I think it's really good to source from like Craigslist as well. Nextdoor is a great place to source, clearly. So don't forget that the places that you're trying to sell items on are the places you should also be looking for items to, gain. So it's a great place to source as well. Okay, what else we got here? What else? Here's trivia. I see your Point Break poster, which is right here. What was Keanu Reeves' name in Point Break? His name was Johnny Utah. Yes. Yeah, Johnny Utah. Utah, make it 2. All right, any more questions? Let me know. Tim Linton says, Bonafide Hustler and eMoney are awesome. Always network and listen and learn from anyone. I always learn and listen. Always network and listen and learn from anyone. Cool. Good. All right, any more questions? Let me know. So many things here. Rhythm J, I'll say this. There's money to be made reselling. No doubt about that. You can honestly make money with $1, but it's better if you have the money to sit on and invest. At this point, I'm well off. Cool. There you go. Barbara. Hi, Mr. Bonafide Hustler. New to your channel. Wow, we got a newbie in the house here. Welcome. Thank you for all the great advice. When are you having a sale on your books? I want all of them. All right, so if I can give you any kind of advice, I'll just say it really quickly. Just get on my email list. So we have sales on there. I have sales on there here and there. But if you're wanting all of them, I'll just say right now, the best deal actually is on the email list. And it's you'll get an email, you'll see. But it's in there. So if you're in my email list, or if you have my if you have my 50 profitable used items to sell for cash guide, it leads to the Cheddar reports, which come out every mid-month. So I'm going to be working on the Cheddar report, not tomorrow, but the next day. And that one's going to be issued out right around the 15th of the month. Cheddar reports are cool. On the last Cheddar report, I showed the GameCube, for example, and I talked about it. Like I talked about how I got it and Nextdoor, even before it sold. And I said that I was going to probably try to sell it for around, 2 to 4K, something around there. I was, whatever. And there was other things in there. There were things that sold, like Stratocaster, some other really cool things, music I listened to, healthy habits that I'm into as well. I close out the Cheddar reports with healthy habits, and then there's a section of where I'm going to be. If I have a trip planned for some reason, I will do a little micro meetup somewhere, and so it kind of shows where I'm going to be. So maybe it might be at a town near you. But Cheddar reports are pretty cool. I aim for them to be fun. Have some information in them, and then hopefully some other things that make you kind of think about reselling as being a nice gateway into something else, or to make have some vacation money, or pay a car payment, pay your house off. You start really realizing that it can make some good money. So the Cheddar reports are on my email list as well. I think we're down to Cheddar report number 6 now, coming out soon. And then you get some cool emails that I've crafted up, which are great because it shows you neat things, and I break down certain genres of something, or I might highlight a flip that I've done. I'm going to redo my list a little bit and kind of make some more emails. Probably if I have time this week, I will. But it's pretty cool. And there's a really good sequence of things in there, and I think you'll enjoy it. John Thozeski says, check out the podcast I did with him. This, That, and Those. This, That, and THOZ. That's right. I was on his podcast 3 weeks ago, I want to say. Pretty cool podcast. Thank you for the opportunity. It was really fun. Raphael, honestly, I started watching your videos about 2 weeks ago, and I started flipping things since then. You make great content. Thank you for making great content. Thank you so much for watching. DJ Sailorman 724. I've sold more with eBay local pickup than Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and OfferUp combined. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's interesting. It's very interesting. Are you saying with eBay local pickup as an option or as the only option? That's my next question to you. Marrakech7, any chance your brother will make YouTube videos in the future? He's training to be a nurse. He's training to go up. Actually, he's taking his nursing exam. At that point, he can be a registered nurse. So that's a very tough exam, and he's trying to really, ace this thing. So we'll see. Brian the Oak Brook Picker, any thoughts on intermittent fasting? And not something I want to talk about on this video. I've been doing it for 3.5, almost 4 years now. So I love it. I have many thoughts on intermittent fasting. It's definitely built into my 2 workout plans that I have being tested out behind the scenes right now on a private Facebook group with 13 individuals in it. So my thoughts on intermittent fasting is that I'll just say right now, I like it. I like it a lot. It's convenient, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I think it's good for anybody. I think it's really good for people that want to control their weight. Great for people that just hate preparing meals and like wondering what they're going to eat. Like I think it's great for that. I've taken it to the extreme on both. Like I've intermittent fasted. I've done 2 large meals a day, 3 semi-large meals a day, 4 medium grade meals a day. Like I've done so much experimenting, and yeah. So West Coast Hustle, how about keto? I've done pretty much the keto diet last year. Any thoughts? I liked it. It was a pretty limiting diet, but I did get pretty shredded up on the keto diet. That's for sure. That's probably something more for if you see my other channel called Bod space Dam. If you ever see me do a live show there, ask all those questions there. I would love to help you out. I really would. Brian says, I've been intermittent fasting for 2 years now. Really like it. Look, if you want me to do a healthy habits show on the Bonafide Hustler channel, all you have to do, and I promise you this, if you want this show to go down soon on the Bonafide Hustler, just a healthy habits where we talk about, good things that are healthy, that are repeatable, that are, you can make habits out of them and you can feel better about yourself. And we're not just talking about going to the gym and lift, no, like other things. If you want that show, just type in, I want that show. That's all you got to put. I'm going to have a number in my head. If we cross that number, I'll make that show. And I'll try to make it this week too. So that's all you have to put is, I want that show. And I'll give you some of my good tips that they're going to be built into my programs. So I believe in these fundamentally, like I do them, you know what I'm saying? So I have a certain number in my head. If I see that many comments or more, then I will do that show on the Bonafide Hustler channel, not even on my workout channel. So up to you guys, really. All right, I'm going to count them real quick. I want to see what other kind of things we have here. Eric Gonzalez says, I found my biggest profits hitting the local scrap yards. You'll be very surprised what you can find there, and they will sell it dirt cheap. I'm pretty sure I would be very surprised. I think that'd be cool. Here's one. Barbara Cerno says, how do I go about getting comps on my giant road bike? It really depends. But since you're not going to sell it on eBay anyway, because it's probably not one of the most current, most expensive giant ones. So you're going to want to look at your local markets or surrounding towns within an hour from you, type in giant road bike, and just see what the market is kind of selling a giant road bike that's aluminum plus carbon, and then full carbon, and then look at yours and go, all right, do I have an aluminum one? Do I have an aluminum plus carbon one? Or do I have a carbon road bike? And then you can kind of factor like, all right, depending on the year, use a more recent one, command a little bit higher money. Although bikes are pretty much 2 triangles, a crank, group set, cranks, a chain, 2 wheels, and some handlebars and a seat. Like, there really hasn't changed too much over the past 10 years with road bike technology. It just hasn't. But still, Giant is a good brand. It's not the strongest brand, but it's a good brand. So it depends on what you got. And I would suggest looking at your own hometown and hometowns that are within an hour from you, typing in, especially on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and then just do your own local research, because you're not going to sell this thing on eBay. There's no way. Unless it's like the baddest, like most expensive giant one, but it's probably what you don't have. Because I can't remember the last time I saw anyone riding one of those. So Misty E says, congrats on flipping the Nintendo GameCube kiosk. I live in Cedar Park, and I saw that on my marketplace feed. Okay, cool. Yeah, I noticed that I hadn't seen it in a while, so I knew you must have sold it. Kudos. Cool. So yeah, she saw my ad. Awesome. Here's a great question. Diego says, "Hi, when you started reselling, where were you working a job?" Yes, I was, and I was working a very good job. Most people would be like, "Why would you even venture out looking for opportunities like reselling?" Well, I didn't really venture out to find reselling. I think reselling found me, and it found me in the way that I wanted to, I just wanted to stand out from the crowd when I went out at bars. I was single and ready to mingle, but I just didn't want to wear the same kind of clothes that everyone else was wearing. So I was like, I'm going to go to the thrift stores and wear some cool vintage tees that I find. That was literally like my thought process, because I had previously gone to stores around the university area that were vintage t-shirt shops, and they were selling for like $30 to $50. And I was like, maybe I can find them at a thrift store for $5 or something. And that's where the whole thrift journey started. I write about it in my first book, which is actually chilling right there. It's called Flip That Shh. There's a bad word at the end. But I flip a bike that I find outside on a Craigslist, on a classifieds ad. I make a classifieds ad for this bike after I fix it up, and then I make X amount of money within like 2 days. And that's what started my whole resale journey. So I guess reselling found me. I didn't go seeking out to be a reseller. And there was definitely no YouTube channels back then. So I still love it to this day. It's fun, and I keep doing it, All right, let me see if I have those comments, because I'm looking for a certain kind of comment. I want that show. Okay, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. All right, so I have 6 of I want that show. That's not quite the number I was looking for, so I won't air it. If I see some more, and that means if you want to see a healthy habits show, all you have to type in is I want that show, and I will show you some cool stuff that I do. To keep myself sane, to keep myself fit, to keep myself healthy, blah, 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 like that. That's what the show would be about. Todd A, what hair products do you use? I use TG by Catwalk, I want to say, or Catwalk by TG? No, TG Catwalk, to give all this good look to it. Sometimes I use olive oil at the ends, but that's pretty much it. So, I have good conditioner too. I have organic conditioner by Alafia, and so I use that. It's got shea butter in it. So okay, so I want that show. Cool. So good. We can definitely get that show. Todd A says you're awesome. Aaron Kluge says, can you do a Bonafide fashion guide? I could. I do own a private label. Well, it's not a private label. It's my own clothing brand. And it's I'm actually saving up for the second big purchase that I'm going to do for it. But as the fall rolls around, the weather starts to turn, I'm going to be shooting the clothing section of my brand called Strella. And there's some Strella hats up there, blah, blah, blah. Those are the hats. And they've sold pretty good, actually, without really talking about them at all. But I have a box full of shirts right here and another box full of shirts over there. And they are nice shirts. In fact, this shirt that I'm wearing right now, the funny thing is this is actually a blank of one of the tester shirts that they sent me home with to see how it felt. Like, how does it feel every day? Like, I know it hugs the arms, but I didn't want it to be all super tight right here. I want it to be nice and flowy. So this is actually a tester shirt. Funny story with that is that, they sent me home with 3 different shirts, and I wore them for a couple of days each to figure out which one I really wanted my clothing brand to be on. And I ultimately decided on 2 different blends. So those are going to be shot in nice places, outdoors more than likely, and put on the Shopify front. And then they'll be up for sale soon. And then, of course, I wear my Strella tank tops in the gym all the time, and I like that. I'm going to be making a second edition of those. And then if everything goes right, if I have enough more money left, I'm going to be making Strella hoodies, I think, which I can't wait for that because I love hoodies. Hoodies are comfortable. Zip up, not pullover style, but zip up, because pullover style gets staticky hair and it's just all wacky feeling. And they can get too hot sometimes. Like a zipper one, you can unzip it and you can just, I don't know, feels better. A lot more versatility with a zipper one. So now I got to go and get those and the blanks and try those on and see which one meshes with the active / entrepreneurial / everyday lifestyle kind of thing. And that's, to me, is how a good product should be built, is with extensive testing and not just issuing something because you can make money on it, but issuing something that you yourself can fully back and you believe in it. And so it goes, to me, it goes as far as trying it on, making sure it fits good. Like, it's so important, because if it fits good, you're going to wear it all the time. Juan Soriano, any Strela tank tops size large? I do have them. Yes, I do. But I haven't shot the pics of them, and they're only in the hands of certain people right now that bought them when they were at the Green Room meetup. At the Green Room meetup, I made some Strela, and I can show you. I'll show you what one of the tank tops looks like. Of course, you probably saw it on the video. I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, I'm always proud about like having, how do I say it? A clothing brand. I don't talk about it very much. Here's a photo of one of the guys that bought it at the last meetup, and he's on my workout program, and he's getting in good shape. His name is Mark Frazier. I'm gonna blow up this photo, and here he is at Vegas poolside. He's on week 4 of one of my workouts, and he's got my tank top on. See the Strela tank top? I mean, you can't really see the picture too well. It's not the greatest camera, but dude's looking great, and he's getting stronger than ever. He's slimming up a little bit. He's getting some good roundness on his arms and his deltoids. And he's got the Strela tank top. That's the tank top that I wear all the time. So he has one, but he bought it at a Green Room meetup when I was asked by many people, like, just bring it in the back of your truck. Can we have some of it? So I brought some shirts, hats, and a couple tank tops, and people bought them. So anyway, Dustin Doyle, I made $80 today on Facebook Marketplace. I think any day that's like $100 or more, you should be very grateful for days like that. So that's kind of like my goal every day, is around $100 on Facebook Marketplace or local avenues. Like, I like that. So that's something I shoot for. Today I am at 45 on something, and then 20, so 65 today. It's not too bad. Could be better. Yesterday I was at 85. Might have done 2 sales yesterday. I'm not 100% sure. I know yesterday I finished at 85. So that, it is what it is. But then some days you get 200, sometimes you get 300. So if I can just try for every day, 100, I think that's good. Jack Zwick, what's your fitness channel again? It's called Bod Damn. It's a play on words. Instead of saying God, you say Bod Damn. Cole says, what's some advice you have for beginners just starting out with reselling? Man, what a big question. I'll try to bring it down to 3 concise bullet points. 1, watch YouTube videos and gravitate towards people that you really enjoy wholeheartedly. Does that make sense? Like, if you can really relate to someone that you watch on YouTube, then watch all their videos and take it to the next level. Because usually someone that if you watch someone that's like bright, full of energy, and that they're a reseller, for example, then support them even further if they have some products that they talk about. I think it's a great thing to do. People that have bought my products, for example, like, they really like them. I look all the time for negative press on my products. I can't find any, but I look all the time. I look for praise as well, and I find a lot of that. But like, I look for negative press because I want to make sure that the next guide doesn't have that. And so the only way that I can kind of make a guide better is to ask for what's wrong with my previous guides, and I look around for that in the reviews, and I look around for that in a 4-star versus a 5-star review. I can't find any 4-star reviews, like, I look around all the time on Reddit. I'm just looking, and most of the stuff, just about everything that I've seen has been positive. So that means I'm doing a good job. I like that. And then people that I meet up in real life with me that have my guides, they almost always are just like, the guides are great. Like, I buy stuff from all the people in the reselling space, and without naming names, but they say, your guides are definitely, if not the best, like some of the best. Like, they're just up there. They're really good. So I pride myself on that, and it rewards me for all the all the hours that I put into these guides. Like the one I have coming out, I want to outdo myself, and I want to outdo every guide that I've made, but I have to be cognizant of how much hours and stuff I put into it, because it's a long process to get a guide out. It really is, especially when you want to make a guide that has 90% or more of the pictures in it are your pictures that you've shot and things that you've sold. And I really like having those in my guide. I really don't like to go to Google Images if I don't have to for something. So yeah, that's something, because when I look back at it, I go, I remember that flip, or I know that. And if someone asks me particularly about something that's in my guides, I will know about it because those are my pictures, like I shot those things and I sold them. So that's how I look at it. I think most products should be made that way. I think people should have a lot more heart in the things that they produce or the things that they rep. We're seeing sometimes a lack of that. And so when I build my workout programs up, for example, I always do this, but I always digress over whatever topic we're trying to talk about selling locally. Here I am talking about my workout programs, but I try to make my stuff just exactly to what I have passion with. So, my workout programs are programs that I have done and I know the results from them. And I don't think it's inherently very complicated to do these things. So I'm making big programs out, like not just workout, but like the 5 fundamental things that get people out of their funk and get them feeling great about themselves, looking in the mirror, seeing progress, and like literally going like, I feel better. Like that's what I want. And I want people to go, Bonafide hustler, or damn, that's the guy that did it. That's all I care about in the end. It'd be nice to see, the account go up and whatever, and I might get a car out of it or something down the road. But ultimately having a long-term customer that goes, that dude changed my life. That's what I want. That's ultimately the best kind of customer you can ever wish for. You can read about it in any business book, is to have a customer that keeps coming back to you for no matter what you built. So big time business talk, but I do read a lot, and I'm not out to sell my goods to everyone. I'm out to sell my goods to the people that really want to change their lives. And I know it's not everybody, and some people are way more serious than other people to do it. So talk is cheap. When you really want something really bad, you're going to have to act. You're going to have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to do things like that in life. That's just how it works. Free is great, but free usually doesn't have all the answers. So Aaron Kluge, buy a DeLorean when you reach 100K. I'm going to buy a DeLorean when I reach 100K, and then I'm going to go back in time to when I'm 16. I'm going to learn how to resell. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to buy a DeLorean when I reach 100,000 subscribers. Then I'm going to go back in time and learn reselling when I'm like way younger. Mr. Pink, ever going back to the clean cut, short hair, shave face, Bonafide look? I've thought about it, but I don't know. I get a lot of attention with this look. Let's put it that way, especially in the gym. And no matter where I go, like it's a very, I don't know, it's kind of an intimidating look. And I kind of like that. I do. It's a look that people will ask, like, what does this dude do for a living? Like, because you can't just walk around like this all day long, like having a super professional, like corporate job. So I like that. It makes people wonder what I do. And I get that question all the time when people ask, like, what do you do? Like, I tell them what I do, and they're like, wow, that's pretty fascinating. Like, holy crap, like for real, like, yeah, and I like that. It's cool. It's like a signature almost, it's like, this is me, at least for now. I might cut it one day. Who knows? Ricardo, thanks for all the info. Helped me a lot since I first started reselling. Shout out from Miami, Florida. Hey, thank you so much. Logan, I've been watching your channel since I started reselling in 2015. Great content for sure, and would definitely recommend. You've taught me so much. What time of the day is best for listing items? Look, to me, any time of the day, the worst thing that you can do is not list items. So like any time of the day is good to list quality items. If you're listing junky items, then it really doesn't matter. You can do it at nighttime, morning, at your afternoon break. Bad items have trouble selling. So don't ever look at like this listing thing or listing parties like, oh, we're going to list like 1,000 items in a day. Like, forget all that. Like, I would rather list 10 super high quality items, like maybe like the GameCube thing being one of them. And I would rather seek out 10 really amazing items than 1,000 crappy items that take forever to sell and you deal with 1,000 customers, where I would rather deal with 10. So that's the way I kind of look at it. It's about working harder, not smarter. I get a lot of people asking, like, how many hours, like truly a week do you do with this reselling thing? And the answer is almost always the same. It's around 16, no more than 16 or 20 hours a week. Like it's usually around 16. Some weeks it's not even 16. So I spend a lot of time reading behind the scenes and planning out my next moves in life and building products out. And that's what takes up some of this other time, and I love to get outside. So I put my health first all the time. Like, it doesn't matter. I put it arguably before my family because I'm not in good health and good spirits. Like, how am I supposed to like deliver, But yeah, just put it in context is that reselling, if you do it really, really smart, you can make a great side little income that can allow you for some downtime where you can really start to move the needle forward on some of the dreams that you want in life. And for myself, like for me, my biggest lacking thing is the fitness portion of products and, regimes and one-on-ones and things that will really help people out, because I can help people out financially through the Hustler channel. But when it comes to the workout channel, it's a little difficult, and it's going to require a little bit more finesse, and everyone's a lot more individualized at that point, because everyone's different sizes, shapes, limitations, and it takes a lot more to consider those kind of things. Whereas if you're a reseller, it don't matter. Like it just, the way you look, your body shape, none of that matters. Like you can be a great reseller in 2 seconds. But when it comes to fitness, it's a little different story. Mobility is one of those things that you never want to lose in life, and it can become precarious if you get into a tough shape, or you're at a doctor's office and you get a bad kind of like, let me sit you down and go over your results. You don't want that to happen, and people shouldn't have to wait for those times to look for reasons to bring fitness into their lives. And I feel as if we live in a world where people do that. They bring fitness in at the worst time possible, is when they absolutely have to, and it's terrible. Like if you think about it, it is absolutely bonkers that people do this, but this is the reality we live in. So I aim to change that by providing, multi-faceted fitness approaches. It's the stuff that I live every day. I effortlessly stay in great shape, like all the time. And it's just, I don't spend hours in the gym. I'm not in the gym all the time either. That's the crazy part. Most people, you're in the gym all the time. Like, you're a roid head. Like, no, I'm not a roid head, and I'm not in the gym all the time. I just look at life differently, and I'm going to tell people how I do it if they want to know. That's basically it. So yeah, I will make that show. Now I'm going to promise you guys, because I saw a bunch of people wanting that Healthy Habits show. So are we going to do it this week? If we do it this week, you're going to comment this week. Got 96 people watching right now. If that Healthy Habits show is going to go down this week, all you got to do is comment this week. That's it. And we will make sure that Healthy Habits show goes down. And we'll move that needle together, guys. We will move it together. You can catch it live, or you can catch it, the replay. But if we want it this week, you guys got to tell me we want it this week. Okay. All kinds of people. Bonafide Hustler, I've been selling. Commonwealth Picker says, Bonafide Hustler, I've been selling boots in my booth lately. Thanks to your info. I appreciate it. I never would have thought to do it, and I'm the only one in the mall who does it. How cool is that? That's great. You should feel good about that. Check this out. Like the other day, or actually I bought a pair of Converse on a video that you're going to be seeing tomorrow, probably. High top pair of Converse, polka dot Converse, nothing crazy. Like $1. I'm putting them in my booth. Actually, I already dropped them off in my booth for, I'll make 25, something like that. Okay, so a pair of Converse that I'm not even going to physically be there to like move them. I'll make 25 bucks, 24. Okay, after all the fees in the antique mall takes its cut out, I'll make 20 bucks. All right, so I'll make 20 bucks on something that I'm not physically there for. That's really great. Antique mall gets their cut. The reason why I'm putting it in there is because the lady right across from me, the booth right across, there's an aisle, a booth, an aisle, another booth. Right across from me, I noticed the other day when I was just walking past her booth that she had like 10 pairs of high top Vans, not low cut. Oh no, 10 pairs of high cut Converse, not Vans, Converse. And some were themed, but a lot of them were not themed whatsoever. And I was like, no one would put 10 of anything in their booth if it didn't have some sort of substance, some selling substance. And I was like, I bet you she's selling the crap out of these things. Something's going on, because why would you have 10 of these things like prominently placed in the front of the booth? Like, it's not even like you have to dig for them. They're right there. Like, if you walk to her booth, they're one of the first things that you would see. Neatly kind of on a pegboard thing, all high top Converse. Put two and two together. I was like, you know what? She's probably making money on this. And I'm always on the quest to find out some of the best bread and butter items that I can put in my booth. And so far, what I have found is that VHS tapes do really well. Like my experiment with the VHS tapes, they're selling all the freaking time. That's crazy. I'll make, I might be like 10 cents into like a VHS tape, and I'll make probably like $1.60 on each one that sells after the antique mall takes its cut. $1.80 actually. So it might not sound like much, but when you multiply it times, 5 to 10 that sell in a week, you start to realize that to get to my rent number, cowboy boots are good things to do. Pro snap shirts, VHS tapes, hubcaps, all these little random things lead to the bread and butter. And then the big sales are made with like the furniture and the lockers and the deer antlers, the things that have much higher, things to sell, higher. I don't know. It's like they're looking for a very particular kind of buyer. And so that's how like the leaps and bounds are made with the booth money. But you still make, bread and butter items are great. I mean, I was in my booth yesterday and I was putting down a bunch of bread and butter items, and they're fun. Belt buckles are a really cool one too. The belt buckle, the $20, if you caught my video 2.5 months ago, I popped on 28 belt buckles for $20, and it was in this like Justin Boots box, right? And you open the Boots box, you're like, holy crap, there's like 28 buckles in here. And then you close it and you realize, oh, he wants $20 for it. I still tried to talk him down, but he was like, no way. Those are awesome buckles. And I knew they were. So, I tagged every one of those belt buckles up. I make on the lowest belt buckle, I make $17 on. And on the highest ones, I've made up to 28. So it's pretty crazy when you think about it. There's 28 of those things in there. So I made my money back on buckle number 1 selling. And when I looked at my booth the other day, or yesterday, there were still like 18 belt buckles left. So that's super cool. Maybe less than that. But yeah, there were a good amount. So it's really cool to have those kind of things. And that's the reason why I put those high top Converse in my booth. So this week, all right, cool. So yeah, put out the show this week. Cool. I will. Just look at the Cheddar Weather shirt. It says unavailable. All right, so Nevada Picker 702. I'm going to be I'll probably try to do that this week, but I'm going to try to get Teespring involved and put my shirt designs on Teespring so I can get that guy. So if you want a Cheddar Weather shirt, you can get one. That pretty much does the show, guys. I know it's an awkward time to kind of like, cut it off, but I've put in, hour and 15 minutes here. If you enjoyed the broadcast, you found some nuggets in here, and just hit the like button. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll definitely see you on the next video and watch all my vlogs and all that kind of stuff. There's a really good one dropping tomorrow. And there's a more in-depth explanation of the Nintendo GameCube Nextdoor find on a video that I edited this morning too. That's coming out very, very soon. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that. As always, thank you for being cool here. And for anybody that super chatted me money, thank you so much. Anyone that had questions for me, thank you so much. You can follow me at the Bonafide Hustler on Instagram. You can watch my Saturday stories as I'm in the garage sailing mode evolve on Instagram as well. So don't forget to check me out there. But that's pretty much it. If you learn some nuggets or whatever, and you feel as if this is cool, we should keep doing shows like this, then hitting the like button and leaving a comment, some of the best ways that I can see that this show is needed. Till then, I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.